Hey, sunshines. So let's talk about quadrilateral angle sums. We already talked about how the triangle angle sum theorem says that the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. That principle applies to other polygons as well, but it's not 180 for other polygons. For a rectangle, clearly, if you add up our 490-degree angles, you get 360. So 360 is the magic number for quadrilaterals. So it's the same concept, but just a different number. So if you know 3 out of the 4 angles as numbers, it's really simple. You just add up the 3 you know plus x equals 360. So combine my like terms and I get 310. And so x equals 50 degrees. So a lot of you can do this intuitively. You can say, okay, I know they add up to 360, so I just need to subtract these. I'll add them up and I'll subtract it from 360. Or I'll take 360 and I'll subtract each one until I get x. And that's fine as long as you're showing, that's usually fine as long as you're showing your work. But this is the actual algebraic process that you're going through. And it's better to show your work this way. Also, this is the way you need to do it really for some of the harder problems. If you've got something like this, where you have 4 angles that all have algebraic expressions, they all have x in them, then you're really going to want to show that step where you add them all together. So 2x plus 30 so I have my equation here equals 360. So then I need to combine all my like terms. So I start with my x terms and I get 37x. Remember that when you're adding x terms, you get an x term. And then I combine my constant values and I get minus 10. And then I'm just going to solve, so I'm going to cancel out that 10. Using the addition property of equality, where I add the same thing to both sides of my equation. And then I'm going to use my division property of equality to divide both sides by 37. So I get x equals 10. So now I have the value of x. Usually you're actually going to want to find the angle measure, so you're going to have to plug x back in. So 2 times 10 gives me 20, plus 30 gives me 50. So 50 is the actual measure of this angle. And then we do the same thing with all 4, with the rest of the 4 angles. And so now I have the measure of all four angles, and we already know from the problem up here that 80 plus 130 plus 100 plus 50 equals 360. So there you have quadrilateral angle sums.